Our passage from Luke today reminds us that Jesus is on his way to Jerusalem. The evangelist Luke gives us this reminder so that we don't forget Jesus is headed to his death. As we follow Jesus, we are always orienting ourselves to the cruciform life, dying to self and living a new life in Jesus. As Jesus is on the way to his own death, 10 lepers call out to him by name. They know who he is already. Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. When he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were made clean. Seen. That's the end of the first story from Luke today, actually. These lepers do what Jesus says, and they go on their way. Then, even though we hear it read bunched together, we actually have a second story. It's not only about healing, it's about salvation. One of the lepers delays going to a priest, delays being restored to community and probably his family, when he sees that he's been healed. When he saw that he had been healed, he turned back, praising God with a loud voice. He prostrated himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. Then Jesus said to him, "Get up and go on your way. Your faith has made you well. Your faith has saved you." The first story, where the 10 are delivered from their ailment, is about healing. The second story, where the one foreigner, the one doubly ostracized by being a Samaritan and being ritually unclean because of his leprosy, suffering from the bucket of ailments called leprosy, gives thanks and receives salvation. Your faith has made you well. Your faith has saved you. A full healing of mind, body, soul, spirit, and relationships through faith in Jesus and thanksgiving to God has brought salvation to you. This is the work of Jesus the Christ, God's anointed one. Full healings of mind, body, soul, spirit, and relationships. When the Samaritan man realizes that his leprosy is gone, he delays obedience to Jesus. Jesus told all of them to go show themselves to a priest. The Samaritan man comes back and praises God with a loud voice. All he has done is call out to Jesus for mercy. That's all we do when we come to the font and to the table. We call out for mercy. God hears us and gives us that mercy because of God's supreme love for us. Neither we nor the Samaritan nor the other 9 does anything to warrant nor earn God's love. We call out, God shows up. What we do next, though, is up to us. At the end of our service today, we'll be singing "Tell Out My Soul," which is very loosely modeled on Mary's song, the Magnificat in Luke 1. Salvation offered to the whole of creation, Jesus' resurrection being a mark of new creation, not just resuscitation, is a theme through Luke's gospel, starting in Luke 1 with Mary's song. After being chosen as the God-bearer, Mary's soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. The one Jesus calls this foreigner comes back praising God with a loud voice. How we live our lives can be a mirror, should be a mirror, of what God has done for us. One way we can reflect our gratitude, just one way, is by giving back to God what God has given to us in our finances. Tell out my soul the greatness of his name. Make known his might, the deeds his arm has done. His mercy, sure from age to age the same. His holy name, the Lord, the Mighty One. How is your soul telling out what God has done for you? As we work toward growth alongside a right-sized budget, have you thought about your experience of the good news of Jesus, the resurrected Christ? In inviting people to church, have you told them about your salvation through Jesus? The stories of the growth of the church, starting in the Acts of the Apostles, are knowing God's love and making it known to others. God's mission for salvation, made available to all creation, sings out in our passage today from Luke and throughout the whole of Luke's gospel. Like this Samaritan leper, we are all the wrong kind of people. God doesn't care about that and is excited for the new creation that starts in Jesus' incarnation. This passage from Luke today should never be used to dunk on the other 9 who did exactly what Jesus told them to do. We don't know if they came back after they'd met their ritual requirements and been restored to their families and communities. That's a part of salvation too. As you read Luke's gospel, restoration of relationships is a part of every healing miracle. As we know God's salvation, a full healing and restoration of mind, body, soul, spirit, and relationships, our souls cry out with a joyful shout that the God of our heart is great. As we know God's salvation, we give thanks to God in so many ways. When we gather at the table, that prayer is called the Great Thanksgiving. And through Christ, we continually offer to God the sacrifice of praise, that is, the fruit of lips that acknowledge his name. But we should not neglect to do good and to share what we have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. I'm very excited about the stewardship campaign Launch Lunch today. That's one L word away from being a tongue twister. I have seen how much work has gone into planning this. I've seen some of you looking in your bulletins, and you already know you're in for a treat. Alex's amazing brisket is only a tiny fraction of that treat. Neither we nor the Samaritan nor the other 9 does anything to warrant nor earn God's love. We call out, God shows up. What we do next, how our souls tell out the greatness of the Lord, is up to us. Amen.